If the world once lived without refrigerators, how did ice become one of the pillars upholding modern civilization? Welcome to this channel, where we hunt for the histories lurking behind the ordinary. Today, the cold chain, how ice changed food forever. Think about your life right now. You open the fridge, cold air blows in your face. It's so normal, you don't even notice it. A steak from Argentina, berries from Mexico, shrimp from Thailand, they all sit right next to each other. Magic, right? No, it's ice hidden, humming, always working. And here's the twist. Ice isn't just about making your soda cold. It's the foundation of modern food safety. Let's zoom out. Every day, tons of chicken, beef, and fish glide across oceans and highways. They travel in metal boxes colder than winter in Alaska. This is how your supermarket fills up with food from around the globe. Without this frozen river, cities would starve. Really. In any big city, turn off the cold chain for 3 days. Meat rots, milk spoils, people get sick, hospitals run out of medicine. Chaos. But before ice, there was only smoke, salt, sunshine, or luck. If you wanted to keep food, you burned it, buried it, or drowned it in salt. Most tricks failed. Sometimes you got food poisoning. Sometimes you went hungry. In the 1800s, Londoners lined up at markets every morning. No fridge, no storage, just hope that the fish wasn't old. During the American Civil War, soldiers watched bacon and beans rot in the summer heat. Food spoiled fast, and their stomachs paid the price. But here's what's strange. Today, ice is everywhere. You barely think about it until you lose it. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina smashed into New Orleans. The city flooded, power lines fell, people needed help. But do you know what was missing first? Not water ice. Crowds begged for it. Ambulances needed ice for medicine. Families needed it for food. Suddenly, ice became gold. This is the hidden truth. The cold chain is modernity's invisible scaffolding. You don't see it or think about it, but it holds up everything: your breakfast, your lunch, your health. It controls what you eat and if you live. Step back and look at the big picture. The cold chain took a world where humans cooked and smoked and dried everything and gave us something new. It rewired cities. It fed billions. But it's easy to forget because it's always there until it isn't. But how did a world built on fires and smoke pivot to worshiping the frozen? And who was crazy enough to try moving mountains of ice across the sea? Let's rewind to the moment humanity first tried to cheat the sun and began the ice age that never ended. And picture the year 1806. A Boston businessman stares at a frozen lake and dreams of shipping a piece of winter to the tropics. It sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly what Frederick Tudor tries to pull off. His big idea? Cut huge blocks of ice from the New England lakes and ship them whole to islands in the Caribbean. People call him mad, but Tudor just smiles. He sees a chance to get rich. The world is heating up, literally. Colonial outposts like Havana and Calcutta beg for anything cold. Officers sweat through their uniforms. Merchants crave cold drinks. Planters want cool butter that doesn't melt into soup. There's no electric fridge, only sweat, salt, and hope. But shipping ice? That's a moonshot. You might as well haul snow to the Sahara. Tudor loads his first ship with 130 tons of crystal clear New England ice. Destination, Martinique. He packs the hold tight, lines it with straw. The townsfolk line the dock, laughing as the ship sails off. He'll come back with a load of water. They yell. Tudor keeps his mouth shut. He's gambling his fortune. The ship arrives weeks later. The ice has melted. Only a small pile remains. Tudor loses most of his money, but he tries again and again. What's the trick? Insulation. Tudor learns he needs something better than straw. He finds sawdust. Cheap, light, everywhere. Sawdust hugs each block, slowing the melt. By 1833, he's shipping ice all the way to Calcutta, India. That's 12,000 miles in the heat. Tudor becomes the Ice King, but he isn't alone. Nathaniel Wyeth, another New Englander, watches men hacking at ice by hand, sweating and cursing. Wyeth has an idea. He invents a horse-drawn ice plow in 1832. Now, horses cut perfect rows in the ice, like farmers cutting wheat. The work is 10 times faster, the price drops. Suddenly, everyone wants ice. Southern planters, Yankee bars, even British tea rooms clamor for the cold. This idea explodes. By the 1,850 seconds, Norwegians ship ice to London on steamers. Maine sends mountains of ice to Cuba, Egypt, Brazil. People carve ice houses in cities along steamy rivers. At night, children sneak in to feel the chill. You can see the pattern. People want what they can't have. First, it's winter in the tropics. Someday, maybe it's something else. After all, in your fridge right now is ice built by dreams as wild as Tudors. But there's a catch. What happens when summer is too hot or the lakes just don't freeze? What if the cold runs out? Spoiler. The planet's supply of frozen lakes could only go so far, so humans had to invent artificial winter. When nature's ice supply faltered, industry declared war on summer and built machines to kill heat itself. The world gets tired of waiting for winter. People want cold whenever they need. So the smartest minds on Earth rush to invent something new. In 1876, a German engineer named Carl von Linde builds the first machine that can make real, reliable cold. It isn't magic. It's a box of pipes, pumps, and ammonia gas. It looks ugly, it hisses and sweats, but it works. Factories can now freeze things even when the sun burns outside. Suddenly, there's a wild race. Who can make the coldest machines? Australia, Germany, the US, and the UK start a contest. It's like a big chess match, but with metal and steam instead of knights and castles. Every country wants to win. Every new trick sends the others racing even faster. How does this new cold making work? Here's the trick. Instead of storing ice, they squeeze a gas called ammonia hard. When the gas pops out, it takes heat with it. The pipes get cold, put those pipes inside a box, and you have a fridge. The first ship to try this is the SS Paraguay. In 1876, it set sail from Argentina to France, carrying meat that stays fresh the whole way. Sailors watch, stunned, as beef from the other side of the world lands in Paris, red, juicy, perfect. The world is shocked. People hear about it and want more. In Chicago, big meat companies smell a chance for power. By 1877, men like Gustavus Swift use the cold trick on rails. They take train cars. They fill them with pipes, pumping cold air inside. It's a moving freezer. Now beef travels from Chicago to New York, Boston, Philadelphia. Faster, cheaper, better. Between 1877 and 1881, Swift and his rival, Armour, fight over every mile of track. They want to own the cold. Chicago grows into the meat capital of the world, loud, busy, unstoppable. Salted meat, canned beans, they're yesterday's story. Old factories close in Britain. Canned stuff gets cheap fast. People laugh at the old taste. They want fresh chicken, bright red beef, sweet milk pulled from the shelf, not a rusty tin. But there's a bigger game happening. Nations fight to control the cold. The US goes after Swift and Armour in court. Don't build a monopoly. They try to break them. Meanwhile, in New Zealand and Australia, sheep get loaded onto freezer ships. Now, mutton travels oceans. Even small islands join the race. The cold chain isn't just a line of freezers. It's a race, a test. Each move wins something. Each loss changes lives. The price of cold changes what you eat, where you live, who gets rich, and who gets left out. It still does. But what do we sacrifice to keep industrial winter running? Who really profits and who loses out? Let's pull back and see the modern world that ice built. Who really owns and controls this global empire of cold? You live in the cold chain, whether you know it or not. Nearly everything you eat has traveled that silent, shivering road. Picture this: a planet buzzing with 22 million refrigerated trucks, 5 billion home fridges, whirring day and night, countless warehouses packed with frozen air. It's everywhere. The cold chain is huge, but you hardly ever see it. Your breakfast eggs may have rolled in from another state, cold and safe. Your strawberries might have bounced from a summer field in Spain, zoomed through icy warehouses, then landed on your plate in January. Norway eats tropical fruit. New York can bite into lamb from New Zealand. This is distance, erased by the power of keeping things cold. Every day, 70% of all vaccines, life-saving shots, move along the cold chain's path. 8 out of 10 fish travel this way, frozen stiff until someone is ready to cook. Half the fresh fruit on Earth at some point has been loaded on a refrigerated truck, humming quietly through the night. That's not science fiction. World Economic Forum tracked these numbers in 2020. But there's a trick happening in the background. The more cold chain we build, the more people depend on it. Build more chill, send food farther and faster, then build even more. It's a loop that runs all by itself. It's why strawberries show up in winter and fish from halfway across the world jump into city markets. It's a never-ending cycle. Who wins from this? Not everyone. Big companies like Tyson, JBS, and Walmart control this frozen game. Cities win too. Tokyo, for example, hides 19,000 cold storage rooms underground, feeding 13 million mouths every day. These megacities need cold chain to survive. But who pays the price? Small farmers get locked out. They can't afford fancy chillers, so their harvest stays local. Poor countries watch food rot because nothing keeps it cold. The whole planet pays in another way. Cooling eats up 15% of the world's electricity. Plus, leaking gases from cold warehouses pack a punch. Some gases heat up our sky thousands of times more than plain old carbon dioxide. That's not a typo. Meantime, 1.3 billion tons of food rot every year, according to the UN in 2021. A lot of that gets wasted because the cold chain breaks or can't reach everyone. That's crazy. Think about the scale. In 2022, the US grid counted 2 million truckloads of frozen stuff moving each day. India right now is rushing to triple its cold storage rooms by 2027, trying to compete. But the cold chain is like a hidden train, running on invisible tracks. We're all riding it. More speed, more food, more chill. But nobody really knows who's driving or what happens if it jumps the tracks. We're left with one final, chilling question. Is our trust in the cold chain a dangerous illusion? Here's the truth. The cold chain is a miracle, but it's also a tightrope, stretched thinner every decade over a chasm of risk. Ice looks so simple. We just open a freezer and there it is. But that feeling is a trick. The cold chain isn't solid. It's a glass bridge over a deep canyon. Beautiful, useful, but if one piece cracks, everything drops. Imagine this. You walk into your market, the coolers hum, meat, milk, veggies, all lined up. Looks safe, right? But behind those doors, invisible machines are running day and night. It all depends on power, trucks, workers, and fuel. If even one stops, it's game over. Not just for supermarkets, for hospitals, for food banks, for every house with a fridge. We think food security is automatic, that we can always get what we need. But history says no. In February 2021, a winter storm hits Texas. Power shuts off for millions. The lights go out. Freezers go warm. Supermarkets run out of food in 2 days. Shelves are empty for weeks. People wait in lines, hoping for bread, milk,